Alright, let's dive into this because it's a story that's got layers, geopolitics, military strategy, and a whole lot of tension. President Trump just dropped a hint that a deal on the Strait of Hormuz could be announced today or tomorrow. Now, personally, I think this is huge. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just a waterway, it's the lifeline for global oil supply. If you take a step back and think about it, this deal could be the first real step toward de-escalating the Iran-US conflict. But here's the kicker: what's really going on behind the scenes? First off, Iran and Oman have been in talks, and from what I'm hearing, they're hammering out the mechanics of reopening the strait. What makes this really interesting is the proposed arrangement: ships would enter through an Iranian-controlled route and exit via Oman. Now, in my opinion, this is a classic compromise. Iran gets a degree of control, which they've been pushing for, while Oman acts as a neutral party. But here's where it gets tricky: the US has been adamant about not letting Iran charge tolls. Trump even said, "I'm not going to let them charge." So, if this deal goes through without fees, it's a win for the US, but it also means Iran might feel like they're giving up leverage. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about oil. It's about power projection. The Strait of Hormuz has been a flashpoint since the US and Israel attacked Iran back in February. Closing it was Iran's way of hitting back, but keeping it closed indefinitely. That's a losing game for everyone. From my perspective, this deal feels like Iran is blinking first, but they're doing it in a way that saves face. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The US has used nearly all its long-range precision missiles in this war. Seriously, think about that. The US military, the most powerful in the world, is running low on its most advanced weapons. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth dismissed these concerns, calling it a manufactured story, but come on, when Reuters and CBS News are both reporting it, there's smoke. This raises a deeper question: how sustainable is this conflict? If the US can't keep up the pace, what's the endgame? Meanwhile, the UN rights chief is sounding the alarm over Iran's surge in executions. Volker Turk says at least 56 people have been executed since March, many on national security charges. What this really suggests is that Iran is using fear to suppress dissent, especially after those anti-government protests earlier this year. It's a grim reminder that while we're talking about geopolitics and oil, real people are paying the price. And then there's the Houthi attack on a Saudi oil tanker in the Red Sea. This isn't just a random act, it's part of a broader strategy to pressure Saudi Arabia. The Houthis are Iran-backed, so this feels like Iran's way of keeping the heat on multiple fronts. If you take a step back, it's clear, Iran is playing a long game, even if it means escalating tensions in the Red Sea. So, what's the bigger picture here? Personally, I think this Strait of Hormuz deal could be a turning point. If it goes through, it's a sign that both sides are willing to step back from the brink. But it's also a fragile moment. One misstep, one misinterpreted action, and we're right back to square one. What's fascinating to me is how interconnected all these events are. The missile stockpiles, the executions, the Houthi attacks, they're all pieces of the same puzzle. And yet, each one feels like it's pulling the situation in a different direction. It's like watching a high-stakes game of chess where every move has consequences. So, here's my closing thought: this deal, if it happens, isn't just about reopening a waterway. It's about whether two adversaries can find a way to coexist without destroying each other. But let's be real, even if they agree on the Strait of Hormuz, the underlying tensions aren't going anywhere. This raises a deeper question: can diplomacy really solve a conflict this complex? Or are we just kicking the can down the road? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm curious to hear your take.